Hello, today I'm going to be showing you my code for Lab 1. So starting with part 1, as you can see there's three files, the mapper, reducer, and the test file. So I'll start with the mapper code. So as you can see, first the necessary libraries are imported. This one gives the functionality for regular expressions, which is used here to extract the IP an hour from the raw data. And then this one allows to read from the system standard in, which is used here to read from standard input. So this extracts the IP address and hour from the raw data, because that's what we need to get the top 3 IP addresses for each hour. And then this for loop for each line, it extracts the hour and the IP address and prints it in the format hour IP in 1, which is the count that'll later be used in the reducer to aggregate the data. Then in the reducer, we also import the necessary libraries. We create a dictionary to keep track of the counts of each IP address. And then we read from standard input and trying to split the hour IP and count from each line and aggregating the counts per hour. So if the hour and IP are the same, it'll add the counts together. And if not, then it'll just add that to the dictionary. If there's any value errors, it just continues. So it ignores lines that aren't formatted properly. And then each hour is processed to find the top 3 IP addresses for that hour. And they're sorted in descending order so that the 3 at the beginning will have the highest count, which those will be the top 3, and then it prints those top IPs in the format of hour, IP, and count. And then for the test, this is pretty much the same as in Logstat and Logstat 2, with just it changed to Lab 1 where needed. And so it basically just adds and removes the files and directories needed to test the code. So now if we run this, you can see that it prints the top 3 IP addresses for each hour, which all of them happen to have a count of 1, but it does output 3 for each hour. Now moving on to part 2. As you can see, it also has a mapper, reducer, and test file. The mapper is basically the same as part 1. You import the necessary libraries, extract the IP and hour from the raw data, read from standard input each line, and extract the hour and IP, and print it in the format hour, IP, and 1 for the count. The reducer, you also import the necessary libraries, then it checks to see if a time range was provided as input from the command line. So if the length is 2, it'll try to map the start and end hours. If there's a value error, then it prints invalid time range format and exits. Otherwise, if no time range is provided, then it will process all the hours, similar to part 1. And so then same as before, a dictionary is made to keep track of the hour IP pair counts. The input is read from standard input. The hour IP and count are extracted. If it's within the range, so the hours between the start hour and the end hour, or if there was no start hour provided, then it'll be aggregated to the counts. If there's any value error, it'll just ignore that and move on. Each hour is processed to find the top 3 IPs. So same as before, there's a array to store the IP counts. It's sorted in descending order, so the first 3 items will be the top 3 IPs, and then it prints the top 3 IPs for each hour within the range in the format hour IP and counts. And the test file is the same, but with the lab 1-2 for part 2 instead of lab 1 like before. So to run this one, you can either run it as in part 1, and it'll print the top 3 IPs for all the hours, or you can add a range, say 1 to 4, and it'll only print the top 3 for those hours. And that's all for this lab. Thank you.